We open up a huge weekend of CAA volleyball. The Hofstra Pride, who have been roaring and scoring, winners of their last 9 matches, looking for a first place finish here in the Coastal Athletic Association. Standing in their way, the Towson Tigers, the staple of this conference for the last decade. Hi, everybody, and welcome here to the PEB alongside Dylan Butler. I'm Dan Savarino. Let's take a look at these standings for you. The Pride 10-2, Campbell 10-2, Towson 11-3. Hofstra this weekend has a chance, Dylan, to put a stranglehold on the championship here in the regular season.
And Dan, they had that chance last year as well. They went down to Towson looking to be one of the top 2 seeds. They split last year. They didn't get the job done, and that's certainly on their minds here tonight to get the job done, remain undefeated at home, and clinch perhaps the top spot in the CAA.
Let's talk about this matchup today. You have 2 teams that are 7-0, one at home, one away. Hofstra excellent here at home all season long. They've always had a great atmosphere. Something's got to give.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that you have 2 undefeated teams on either side of that. But for sure, listen, 21 sets won out of 22 sets played here. That's ridiculous for Hofstra, right? And Towson, they've got that great road warrior mentality. So they're going to have to bring that. However, they're a team right now a little bit reeling. They've lost their last 2. They got swept by Stony Brook at home. They've lost 3 out of their last 5. Some injuries, which we'll detail throughout the broadcast. But it certainly sets up for an intriguing matchup.
Hofstra's having one of their best seasons ever by far. 18-2 record, and you look at the leaderboards in not just the CAA, but the NCAA, and you see Hofstra's name right next to it. I mean, look at some of these numbers. Leading the entire nation in opponent hitting percentage, 2nd in team blocks per set, 9th in assists per set. The numbers are remarkable.
It's crazy, and it's been consistent throughout the year, right? It's not just a recent trend, and even Towson, right? Right up there as well in the CAA.
Leading the conference in digs per set, and that's going to be so important today with these 2 groups. Hofstra has so many players on the pins that hit the ball so well. We, of course, know about Isadora Stagely, but Beatrice Braga has been one of the best outside hitters in the entire conference this season, coming off back-to-back 20-kill performances.
She did not go home this past summer. She wanted to stay here, perfect her craft, but also lay the foundation for this team, for this season. She is a leader of this team. There's no doubt about it. And Coach Emily Mansour said, there's not a single player that I've ever coached who has had a greater improvement from one year to the next. She is on another level this year, and she's a big reason why the Pride are having this outstanding season.
Hofstra have been hitting so well offensively this season, and when you look at something like that, you need someone defensively, obviously, to step up. This is one of their leaders, Sydney Sweeney. She has been a staple at the libero position.
Yeah, Stewart's been outstanding this season in terms of digs, right? None better in the CAA. How about 495 heading into this matchup? She's also 14th in the country. She's going to have to be on her best game tonight if Towson's able to go 8-0 on the road.
So that's where we are. Can Hofstra stay atop the standings, or can the Tigers claw their way back towards a possible 2 or 1 seed? We'll be back with more of the starting lineup and the first service of the match, only on MSG and Flow College.
I wasn't born a leader.
It wasn't given to me. I couldn't buy it. How'd I get here?
I decided.
I decided.
Decide to lead as an Army officer.
20-5 Towson, 11-3 in conference play, 18-2 Hofstra, 10-2 in conference play. Hofstra will be wearing their white tops with the blue bottoms, trimmed with blue and gold. Let's get you the starting lineup for Hofstra in this match. Of course, Beatrice Braga is the big name that we've had our eye on, along with Isadora Stagely, who will be out there. And Braga is one of those players that is just taking that next jump this season. As you look at our starting lineup here, Emily Nunez is back in the lineup. That's a huge one. And Lauren Konzen, the DS, will start here on the defensive side. Starters for the Towson Tigers in this matchup will be wearing their all-black tops and bottoms. Libero in that powder blue, great Towson color. And their starters, we look at Don Metal, the 13th year head coach, 5-time CAA Coach of the Year. His starting lineup with Erin Brothers. Maisie Jesse has been spectacular this year as the team setter. And then, of course, the aforementioned Sydney Stewart. We're underway. Beatrice Braga picks up where she led off.
Yeah, Dan, it's like she knew that we were talking about her in the open. Perfect shot there and a good start for the Pride. And as we said, it's been Braga and Stagely, two of the top kills leaders in the CAA this season.
Ducek with the service, the middle blocker. Hofstra so good at being able to get their hands on the ball in those attacks. That's been their biggest surprise this season, according to Emily Mansour. Knew that they were going to be good, but maybe not this good. Third in the entire nation in blocks per set. Stagely gets it over. And the right hand looking deep will not fall. Braga again cross court. Count it. 2 points for her.
And when we spoke with Don Metal about this one, he said, we've got to be really good. We've got to pass the ball well. His hope was when they do attack to be able to move the blockers around for Hofstra and get them tired if there is such a thing.
With the right hand, and Konzen can't keep it. As Pagan gets the point there. Taylor Pagan, Offensive Player of the Week once this year in the 7 sets they played, where they got swept by Stony Brook in 4 sets. Something that really you don't expect coming here from a Towson group. Of course, we saw Stony Brook here at Hofstra just a couple of weeks ago. They're a really hard-fought, grind-out kind of group that's right now fighting for a playoff position themselves. But Don Metal even said it to us, Dylan, yeah, it's a little bit right now, but this is kind of where they expect everyone to be because there's so many good volleyball programs in the conference.
Yeah, he said, listen, these are Towson's final 2 games in the CAA, or final 2 matches in the CAA, so he, despite the late season struggles, he does like the mentality, the culture that his team has, but also stated, listen, these are 2 terrific tests for his team here today and tomorrow to get ready for the CAA.
2 hands on the balls. The right side hit looking from Ella Sanders, and Sanders gets the other attack one more time, which still won't fall. Braga springboards back the other direction. Braga again will change speeds. Tough play along the net, and it'll be a free ball essentially for Hofstra. Joshvili Rava, right side. Perez Sign won't let it fall. Far side to the back row, still alive Stagely. Well, that's what makes her so impressive. She can go both sides. Braga hits it by just inches. I think they're going to give a net violation on that call.
But you're right, Dan, about Stagely. It's the power that she yields in a relatively small frame, but also just the leadership she brings by just always getting after every ball, never quitting on anything.
And the Pride continue their hot-hitting ways as Perez Sign gets it going. Perez Sign this season in 70 sets played, 201.5 total points, 148 of them coming via the kill. And here's Joshvili Rava, the spectacular freshman who has a service error on this one. But Boy, she has been so good this year.
She's been outstanding and probably even better than the Pride thought that she would be this year. Terrific lineage as well with volleyball, sister at Texas Tech. Her mom, a former pro player, dad, a coach as well. And that's just what Towson can't afford to do. You can't give the ball right back. That was a concern for Don Metal coming in, and he said he had to be really strong in the service game, both in serving and receiving.
Nunez gets a piece of the calendar attempt. Perez sign now, send to the cross. From the back row, jumping into it was Pagan. Kaya Alp, free ball the other way for the Tigers. Deflected a few times just out of the reach of Braga, and it cuts the deficit to 1. This Towson group, who last year had their worst finish in the conference since 2018, yet, ready for this, Dylan? 14-4 in the CAA, still finished third, 24-6 record, and lost in the semifinals to the eventual champion Delaware Blue Hens.
That's the culture, right, that Don Metal has imparted on this team. 13th season as the head coach here, but his 24th overall collegiately. So he's done an outstanding job with this program, and it's one that has won 8 regular season titles, 4 CAA tournament crowns as well.
Welcome back, Emily Nunez. Only her 3rd appearance, 2 sets played total since late September. Played in the Charleston, the 5-setters that they lost down there in Charleston. Played in the Friday night affair against Stony Brook, and now she is back here, and it just adds more depth to an already position that they have so much strength in, as this attack era will end up giving a 5-point lead for Hofstra in the first.
And that was Pagan again, and it's crazy to think that anytime she's not on a volleyball court, Dan, she's in a boot. She and Sarah Callender, 2 outside hitters, 2 key members of this Towson team, both playing somehow with a broken foot. It's crazy to think. And these injuries, Dan, they've come late in this season. So you kind of, especially with Callender, about 5 games ago or 5 matches ago, and they've also lost 3 out of their last 5. So it kind of correlates to the injury that Callender and Pagan have.
Springboarded right back off the arms of Diouf, the junior out of France, who had 14 kills last weekend. She's been hot as of late in terms of the attack. The ODU transfer and first school at McNeese, so on her 3rd program, and is making her mark here.
And she's going to be another key as well to this one, because especially on the defensive side, Dan, she's got to deal with both Stagely and Braga, and as Metal said, probably 2 of the top 4 leaders in terms of kills this year, right? You add in Callie Moore, who we saw here at Stony Brook. You add in a Tyne Ross at North Carolina A&T, and those are your top 4, but she's got to deal with 2 of them here today.
Harris signed 2 kills, 150 on the season now. And if you've never seen her serve a volleyball, it is always something special. Sends it almost to the ceiling, and this time buries a service ace right on cue.
And she came in with 24 on the season, so tack on to that, and it's that high jump. She gets her whole body into it, the spin. That's a lot of things to be concerned about for the opposition.
70th service ace of her now 2-year career in a collegiate uniform. Stewart save, put back the other direction by Ducek, and drops right where nobody is, cutting into this deficit, as Stewart, the libero, will take the service now for the Tigers. Real leader of this group. We brought her up, of course, before. Preseason CAA honorable mention, 3-time Defensive Player of the Week, and she has been so good at the service line as of late. In her last, in the 7 away matches, 11 aces, 2 errors. This one will ricochet off the ceiling, so it has to be a free ball that Braga saves from the back row. Denied right up the middle by Ducek. Nicely done. Free ball back the other direction. And a misplay on the Hofstra side. Kaya Alp kind of hit it awkwardly on her pass, and Emily Mansour giving her a look over, saying, kind of, what was that? Not unlike her.
Yeah, it was uncharacteristic, certainly, and an opportunity maybe now for Towson to capitalize again with Stewart serving.
Big swing from Ducek and the point, her first today. Lilia Ducek, only her 34th set played. She's started 12 matches now, the native out of Poland. And you got to play the hot hand, D Player of the Week.
And Mansour said of Ducek that they knew she'd be eventually good, but she's been better than, that's happened a lot quicker than they even expected. She's been a really pleasant surprise.
Went in from the right side from Shalonda Diouf. She picks up her second, Diouf. And there is Ducek. Polish national team, wants to be a pro player, and has had at least 4 total blocks in all but 2 appearances this season. Has been so good at being able to get her hands in those lanes. Speaking of hands, it looks like Braga is getting looked at right now. Might be some blood on the jersey, so that's where our delay is. So what is this being played for right now? Of course, when we think about the top teams year after year inside of this conference, obviously Towson's always up there. They dropped 2 last week, 2 big ones last week, which doesn't completely take them out of a potential regular season title, but it makes it really difficult for them, and it gives Hofstra a chance this weekend to get a stranglehold on number 1.
Yeah, for Towson to clinch at least a share of the regular season, they need a sweep of Hofstra. They need a pair of Campbell losses, as well, which again, considering, as we said in the open, how good Hofstra's been at home, is very difficult of a proposition for Towson, but a lot on the line really throughout the CAA, right? These next 2 days, you've got Campbell, Hofstra, Towson. They've all clinched, as you see the standings in the CAA. Charleston, they can clinch a spot with 1 win or a Northeastern loss. North Carolina A&T, they can clinch a spot if they sweep Stony Brook. And even Don Meadow mentioned, right, that Stony Brook, North Carolina A&T 2-match series is one that he will be keeping an eye out for as well, because they're looking for positioning in the tournament, which they will host.
Emily Mansour, who has won a couple of Coach of the Years, a couple of CAA titles. Her first season in 2014, the second one coming in 2018. And those are the 2 regular season championships that she has had during her time. And look at those numbers, pretty darn good in the dozen years of Emily Mansour. Ducek too far, and it's back to just a 2-point game after the delay. Macy Jesse will step up to the line, the Arizona native.
And she's been outstanding too this year, right? 5.8 assists per set. That's 7th in the CAA. 23 service aces this year. She's especially effective, Dan, when Towson goes to a 6-2.
They call middle, they call the floor. Down by 1 are the Tigers.
Yeah, power right down Broadway. As Towson has clawed their way back in, only down 1 now.
Jesse again. Cons in there. Back set. Ducek. High into the air. Saved by Stewart. Free ball here for Hofstra. Braga, who started off with their first 2 points. He has cooled off since. The kick from Stagely just out of the reach. And we're all tied up at 11 here in the first.
And that was Ella Sanders, the redshirt sophomore, transfer from Delaware State. A little bit undersized as an outside hitter or an opposite hitter at 5'10", but she has been really good. She's putting up some big numbers, and that's something that Don Meadow said they'll need here this weekend.
Pride, who have been up by as much as 3, are now up by 1. As Mansour gets her team going here in this, of course, vital first set. And that first one's so big for Hofstra. They've been excellent this year, losing just 1 match after winning the first set, but maybe sometimes stats don't always help with that when you're 18-2. You've only lost 2 matches all year, having one of the best seasons in program history.
And consider, though, they do come off some adversity, right? There's been so many sweeps. And this past weekend, in fact, their last match down at North Carolina A&T, they went to 5 sets. It was the first time in conference play they went to 5 sets since they lost and they were swept by Charleston. So Mansour said, yes, listen, of course, as head coaches, we would love to have another straight set win as Nunes gets the kill. But she said she liked what she saw this time out of her team. That response in 5 sets, which, listen, when you get to the tournament play, we might have a few of those.
Dioshvili Urava. Cross the middle. Dropped right down, Braga. Beatrice Braga, 2-time Offensive Player of the Week. Last 2 that she played in, 41 total kills. Second and third times in her career that she's had at least 20 kills in a match. And she hit 304 to go along with it. Good swing, good call on the line. Ella Sanders, the redshirt sophomore and transfer from Delaware State, who didn't appear last season due to an injury. And the Tigers always claw in here, getting back by 1 as they'll make a substitution for the service. Pebenito will check in. Natalia, the sophomore out of Maryland, 95th career set played in a Towson uniform. Total missed call on that. Swing, Sanders, tied up at 14.
Sanders 7th in the CAA at 3 kills per set. She's also 7th in points per set, 3.54.
Perez sign, back corner. Still room to work with. Kaya Alp, back set, Braga. Oh, a dig. Sanders. With the right now, not going, and still alive. Too far. Towson calling for touch. That is the call, and they have their first lead of this set.
You mentioned the digs, right? A couple of them there. Maisie Jesse with one. Natalia Pembenito with another. And now they take the lead.
Pembenito across the middle. Braga floats it. Saved in the back. They'll still get a cross-court swing and some touch. 3 unanswered, has a 2-point lead.
And Sarah Callender, the same situation as Pagan. It's crazy to think. And it's a shame, too, because Don Metal says she trained so hard over the summer, but these last 5 matches with a broken foot. So she goes to class, she walks around campus, she's got a boot, but on the volleyball court, she takes the boot off and she endures that pain to help her team try to get a win.
Hofstra calls their first timeout, down by 2 now here in this first set. The Tigers, this season in terms of the conference play, they split with Elon, lost in 5 sets, so just a couple of points away from taking a sweep down there. But their sweep by Stony Brook, the most attack errors they've had in back-to-back matches. They hit just 152 over the course of the weekend, the worst of the 7 CAA series this year, and their 3rd lowest attack percentage of the entire season. 2nd most attack errors, just one that was really tough for them, which now makes them sit at 11-3, but you knew they were going to come out swinging against this Pride group.
And Stony Brook in those matches, they ended a 7-year stretch for Towson, who entered the weekend slate with just 8 losses inside of their home arena. There you see Don Metal. And the resume that he has, almost unmatched.
The impressive stuff he's done in this conference, and he also spent 6 years at Maryland Eastern Shore, 3-time MEAC Coach of the Year, won a couple of championships and NCAA tournament appearances. At Coppin State prior to that for 2 years. There's an impressive resume from Dawn Metal. A 14-8 run since Hofstra was up by 3, 6-3. Towson has taken over. As Braga getting an explanation, our referees today talking there with Ronald Sparks, and Satoshi Asari is on the floor with Andy Echeguerin and Randy Louie on the lines. So Stagely gets her explanation, maybe not one that Emily Mansour loved. And the service comes from the Tigers, who are up by 3. Stagely, my goodness.
Well, that's the response that she wanted. She might not have liked what she saw on the previous play, but took her aggression out big time with that shot.
Her vertical is just absolutely ridiculous. Listed only at 5'7", and she can get up with the best of them in the country. Blocked on the right side, Perez sign. Back-to-back points, they're down by 1, and the Pride have some life again.
And this is a lot of what Don Metal said he was impressed with Hofstra about, whether through thick and thin, whether it's a mistake or something positive, that all-together mentality has been so impressive, and it gets them through some difficult moments in a set.
From the back row. Nice swing there from Pagan, but Pagan is going to extend the lead. They couldn't get control on that swing. And they'll rotate some in. Coming in for the service will be Kaitlyn Moran, the sophomore. Moran, who will see some time when they go to that 6-2 with the 2 setters. Had 24 assists last weekend in the 6 sets played.
And she, along with Pebenito, they're your kind of nice and easy service, or servers, I should say, where they do have those jump servers and they can spin the ball, but when you want to keep the ball in play, and these are the 2 that you go to for Towson.
Service ace. 11th of the season for Moran. The line was going to be so important. That was one of the big keys of this match for Dawn Metal. More on the serve-receive side of the ball. Here they have back-to-back aces and a 4-point lead.
And it's funny, Dan, because Metal told us that Moran is probably their best defensive setter, right? And the best in terms of what she had to do against the ball, but now we're seeing back-to-back aces for her, and now it's Towson threatening Hofstra with only their 2nd set lost here at home this year.
Second timeout called by Emily Mansour here in this first set. And this Tiger group always towards the top each and every year. Champions in 19, 22, 23. Semifinals last year. Pride trying to get back there, of course, but it really all comes from this season. This is a very impressive Hofstra group this year that has so many strong hitters and a lot of depth to go along with it.
You know what I liked what I saw there, Dan, was the coaches were off to the side, right? This was a timeout that was just player only, trying to figure it out and get themselves right here at the end of this first set. She has the utmost confidence that her players can do just that.
Look at those last matchups with Towson. All have been good ones. As these 2 groups have the highest regard for one another's program. 5 points away from taking the first set. Perez signed too far. And she airmailed it across. 21-16, largest lead in the first for either team. A 12-5 run since Hofstra was up by 1. Stagely, free ball the other way. A free ball that almost hits the floor. Stagely there, touched on, but it's Hofstra point violation on the Tigers.
Yeah, Aaron Brothers got just over the net onto Hofstra's side, so a much-needed point for the Pride as they look to go on a run here.
Kaitlyn, the team's libero, and they'll wait and call their timeout. First one of this first set. As the Pride trail now by 4. Now this Hofstra group, who has been so good, of course, here at home. Perfect 7-0. They haven't lost an opening set since a really fun Temple match back in September. That's how far back we're going here. You look how good they've been here at home this season, right? That Temple one, the 3-1. Everything else has been nothing but sweeps.
And even more impressive that all the sweeps have been in conference, right? So 21 straight, so 21-1 coming into this one. But we said, right, Towson in the Open, 7-0 on the road this year. And, Don Metal was more kind of complimentary of Hofstra and their ability, but he said with their road record, he said, listen, we've also gotten ourselves out of some really unique situations. They could have lost at William & Mary, won at Northeastern as well. So there is fight there, he said, but we're going to need a good physicality, a good mental acuity, and match energy with energy. Well, they certainly have done that in the first set.
Kaitlyn, who has 16 service aces this year, played along the nets. Another violation on the Tigers. Back-to-back points for the Pride off of miscues by Towson. Down by 3. Neil, the native out of Turkey. Misplay on the right side. Callender was trying to do something with it, a little too close to the antenna on the pass.
And Kaitlyn, what about the shoes that she's had to fill, right? You had Chiara Cuccio last year at libero, and she's someone who has just worked so hard as she puts that one into the net.
You're replacing one of the all-time great liberos in Cuccio. Not easy shoes to fill, and she has done it. Just been so steady on the defensive end. 22-19. Back set, Perez sign. Cuts into the deficit, down by 2.
Someone who's just getting better each and every match. Perez sign, the sophomore out of Argentina. 2.1 kills per set.
And she's going to call on Clara Ball. And Ellie Pamitat will serve. Ball comes onto the floor. So Clara Ball, pretty good option coming off the bench for sure. As an all-conference performer. Aaron Brothers right down the middle. 23-20.
And Brothers has been outstanding. Second in the CAA in her hitting percentage. 371 on the year.
So Pamitat, the Garden City native, is now the setter for them, as misplay and the back row between Stagely and Kaitlyn set point Tigers.
And that was Stewart again.
High set ball, sends it towards the middle. Good diving action from Stewart. And that is the first. A streak of 21 straight sets have been won by Hofstra and now ended at the hands of the Tigers. We'll be heading to set number 2 with Towson up 1-0. 25-20, they take the first. Back with more, it's Hofstra and it's Towson. It's CAA Volleyball on MSG and Flow College.
I wasn't born a leader.
It wasn't given to me. I couldn't buy it. How'd I get here?
I decided.
I decided.
I decided. Decide to lead as an Army officer.
Towson goes on a 17-9 run to take the first set, and an entertaining first set, but something that's been so big, of course, is how well the Tigers hit. 325 in that first, Hofstra hitting just 231. How big is this 325, Dylan? Well, it's gigantic. Hofstra holds opponents to the best hitting percentage against in the entire nation.
Yeah, so that's exactly, I mean, I don't think you expect that, certainly if you're Towson, right, when you come into this one, but 100%, you know, their hitting percentage 104. Hofstra's, or their opponent hitting percentage, it's something that they, no pun intended, pride themselves on this year, and obviously Towson kind of took it to them in that first set. It'll be interesting to see the response here in the second set for Hofstra.
Emily Mansour looking on. Again, they have not been in this spot much this season. These two groups having another phenomenal campaign. Hofstra will start with the ball from left to right here in the second set, down by one. Nina Gioshvili-Rava with the ball. We're underway here in set number 2. They call the middle again. Purcell Telefoni, but Hofstra grabs the point back on a deflection. Ellie Pamitat, who has ended the first. Hofstra making a change also at the middle blocker spot. As this serve will be in.
And the change that you mentioned, Valentina Lopez Moya, the freshman out of Argentina. She's been injured for a good portion of the year. She played at Charleston, and then after being injured for 3 weeks, she only played 2 matches coming into this one, but Mansour very high on her game, says she's their best scoring option as a middle.
So Braga starts with the ball. Up 2-1. Cross court. Saved along the net, but maybe not saved. Ended up going into the mesh. Pride up 3-1. I've seen a lot of those issues so far for Towson, where net violations going over, and it has cost them some points.
And this is a match where Metal said we've got to be as clean as possible.
Perez sign way too far. That's something that she does do at points. Hitting this year just 181. She tries to look to the back corner. Purcell Telefoni from American Samoa with the service. Isadora Stagely with the lead extended to 2.
Stagely came into this one second in the CAA with 3.95 kills per, as we see the substitution, Lopez Moya, back to the bench and bringing her along and hoping for some big contributions from her.
From the back row. Deflection right off of the fingertips of Nunez. So back to a 1-point deficit. Tigers, who last year, of course, we mentioned before, losing to Delaware in the semifinals. They lost to Delaware in the championship 2 years ago. Well, they don't have to worry about that anymore. Delaware's no longer in the CAA. And this will go out of bounds on the block attempt. So 2-point lead extends, and Perez signs stepping on up.
And they'll certainly be excited about the options or the opportunity to play the CAA championship at home, at their venue.
Used to be the regular season leader who takes it. But Towson is hosting this year. Tournament will be the host going forward. So whoever wins the conference tournament will end up being the host, as far as we've been told, going forward in the CAA. So usually the regular season was obviously such a big deal. You want to be able to win the regular season title, so the next year you end up having it here at your home court, which was always such a cool thing. And the Tigers will be hosting this year. Of course, Delaware won the regular season. They also won the tournament title. That doesn't matter. Charleston would have. Scheduling conflict. So now the Tigers host again. Blocked on the right side. Beautifully done by Diouf. She has made an impact every time she's been out there.
I thought even though they lost to Stony Brook 3-1 in their last match, she was so influential with her energy, and it was infectious. She was a big reason why they won their third set, and they were in it in the fourth as well.
Stagely! Count another one for her. She's starting to get going now. Isadora up to 5, along with Braga's 5, leading all players in this match. So special is Isadora Stagely, preseason all-conference, first team last year, second team 2 years ago. And something Emily Mansour always used to say, you know, when she's on and she's playing her game, there's nobody better. Well, for the last 2 years, she's been on. Emily Nunez, what an addition, getting her back into the lineup.
And with Stagely, you know, we see everything she can do athletically, but the other thing that Mansour said is very impressive is the way that she thinks the game as well, where it's kind of like a chess player where she thinks 2 and 3 moves ahead.
One of just 7 Pride members of this illustrious program to have 1,000 digs and 1,000 kills. There's Clara Ball. She came on late in that first set. I said before, it's always a great weapon to have when Clara Ball's on your bench.
And she's another one, too. She has that different mindset. She changes matches, says Mansour.
Left side call for Lieber, the freshman. And Braga continues her ways.
That was all Braga, both defensively and then also then with the kill as well. And this is the response that Mansour wants after dropping that first set. Pride now up 9-5.
Beatrice up to 6 kills, 6 digs. Stagely the service. Call middle and gets right over the fingertips of Kaya Alp. That middle call from Aaron Brothers has been really good. It's been one of the strengths of Towson this season is how they've been hitting up the middle.
And Metal said, if we pass well enough and keep her involved in the offense, it's really important. but it's especially important to play in system.
Free ball and almost dumped over by Moran. Ball now tries to finesse it down, can't do so. Ball again unleashes one. 10-6.
Preseason All-CAA Ball bringing some heat here, getting the crowd energized. Like you said, not too bad to have that coming off your bench, right, for Hofstra.
It's a best amongst the pins, 315. More than 2.5 kills per set for Clara Ball, third on the group in kills. And another one. Clara's heating up. (11-6) advantage. Those numbers coming into today has been a staple of this program for some time. The senior out of France. Service error back to 4. Towson will have the serve coming from Macy Jesse, the junior. 62 aces in her career, 54 errors. And you look again at Clara Ball and the numbers that she has continued to put up. She doesn't have to be that number one option every single night. And that's so helpful for a group when you have so many good pins. It's a violation against Hofstra. So back-to-back Tiger points.
And Jesse, the junior from Phoenix, 7th in the league with 5.8 assists per set, and really good decision maker, good hands.
Braga with the push. Right side, Sanders goes deep. They want touch. They're not going to get it. And we'll see if this will be challenged by Don Metal. It is. So we'll have our first challenge of the match for either side. And of course, they are challenging the touch.
It was Ella Sanders, it looked like, who had the kill attempt. As we take a look again.
It's a great angle.
I know you're a big fan of that.
I love that angle.
And that's one of the angles that the official does get. Multiple angles. You can see it in a lot of different ways. And Sanders at 5'10", Metal says, great kid, little undersized when you look at her, but that's part of Towson's MO. He said, listen, we love getting that undersized, athletic kid who can play the game at a really high level.
I think it
Fingertip,
did.
yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
But you can see the way the ball rotation changes, as now we'll get the decision.
Yeah, that one did not take too long, so it should reverse. And there is the deflection on the hit. Point goes to Towson. Take a look there. Watch, here comes the hand. And right off the fingertips of Braga as she went up for the block attempt. So 11-9 the lead now for the home side Pride. And they want some deflection on that as well. They won't get this one. Back to 1. Macy Jesse stays on the service. Pemitat back row, Stagely. Right side, Sanders. Denied on the right side. It'll end up being a violation against the Pride instead. We're all knotted up at 11 apiece.
We've seen a ton of those on both sides this afternoon.
A chance to take their first lead of the set, the Tigers. Already up 1-0 in this match. Ricochets off the roof. Ball. And back the other way. Lieber. 12-11.
Yeah, early on, she had a reserve role, Addie Lieber, the true freshman. But because of injuries, and she's had to really step up, and she's had some big, big matches for Towson.
Stage Lee from the line. Count the point. Great effort from Ella Sanders. She's all right as she runs into her coach. Isadora Stagely knots it back up with 12 points on each side.
Don Meadow gets up. It's like, are you trying to hurt me over here? Running into me like that? Big smile on his face.
Ball off. Gioshvili Rava with the service. Sanders cross court. Gioshvili Rava back to Braga. Good save on the back end by Calendar. Sanders now with the right. Back set. Perez sign. Pass to the back row. Not much Stagely can do on that one. Sarah Calendar.
She just flew in there, Dan, as this now a 7-1 run for Towson, and it's remarkable to think Sarah Calendar is coming in here with a broken foot, the way that she's attacking the ball.
Transfer from William & Mary, played 2 seasons there, 300-plus kills before making her way last year with 230 as one of their outside hitters. Pride back with lucky 13s. Braga with the ball now.
Yeah, co-offensive player of the week in the CAA this week. Averaged 5 kills, 1.8 digs, and a little under a block per set last weekend.
Perez sign. Lead back for Hofstra. Constanza out of Argentina. Last year, 260 kills. And closing in on 200 this season with still 3 matches and this one to go in the regular season. Misplayed on the Hofstra defensive side. This does not look like the typical Hofstra defense that we have seen all season long. They do seem very out of sorts.
And again, it's a team that's coming off their first 5-setter in a really long time. I was down at North Carolina A&T. Won that. Their previous 2 5-setters, that one served into the net. They lost at Charleston. But certainly in our conversation with Pride head coach Emily Mansour, very positive about her team.
Here's Neal. Right across the middle. Called middle again for Brothers, and Pride take advantage of it. Gotta love the celebrations. Nothing better. The whole joke is that this team is always in the gym practicing, which they are. They are gym rats. No question about it. But I've never seen them practice the celebrations. It just comes naturally.
Well, there's got to be a leader, right? Someone among that group has got to be the one who kind of coordinates which celebration they go to.
I think Lauren Conzen might be the one, but I'll have to get confirmation on that. With the right hand, Sanders, she's been good today. 9 kills on 22 attacks, no errors. Real good numbers for a one-time Offensive Player of the Week inside the conference.
And that last point you made, the no errors, that's especially key. It's something that hurt Towson against Stony Brook.
Nunes up the middle. The native out of Brazil. As I mentioned before, only playing just 2 matches over the last month plus. Adds more depth to an already strength of this team on the blocks. Pamitat, one of the 2 Long Islanders on this roster. Nunes there again, but that block goes wide. Tigers cut into the lead, and it will be Sarah Callender who steps up with the rock. Pamatat, right side, Stagely tattoos the floor.
I mean, that's just almost unfair, the way that she's able to get up like that and hammer a much-needed point home for the Pride, as they've now got a 3-point lead.
Point Hofstra. So the Pride 5 points away now from taking the second set. And it's Isadora Stagely. That Swiss Army knife can really do it all. We can think of 5-tool players, Dylan, right? We say in baseball all the time, guy's a 5-tool player. She's a 5-tool volleyball player, no doubt.
Yeah, I mean, she could hit from the back row. She's so good defensively. She is a great tandem with Braga as well, right? As two of the top hitters, as Towson calls a timeout.
Hofstra on a 10-4 run since they trailed by 1. Now up by 5 late here in the second. Braga up to 8 kills in this match, 7 for Stagely. Ella Sanders on the Towson side leads all players, hitting .409 overall in these first 2 sets. Beatrice Braga adds to another one. You look at the leaders of today, as I was just alluding to, right? Of Sanders, Braga, Stagely, and Braga and Stagely, they are up there 2nd and 4th. Stagely 2nd, Braga 4th in kills per set inside this conference. Hofstra leads the conference 11th in the nation in kills per set. They've been so good on their attacks.
Yeah, the other two, Callie Moore from Stony Brook, Tyne Ross as well. But when you have that double, and that was the concern for Don Metal. He's got players who are banged up, and that 1-2 punch with Stagely and Braga said it's one of the reasons he thinks Hofstra is the best team in this conference, because you have that ability to hit from either side of the net.
Braga down the right line. Lieber denied. 22-16.
I think I'm going to second what you said. I think it is. I think the ringleader over there in the celebrations is Lauren Conzen.
The Long Island kid wearing the libero jersey over there.
Yeah, out of Connecticut. Wanted to shout out the T-Birds, Dan. They won the Suffolk County Championship, beating Bayshore in 5. Listen, you shouted out Seaford last time. That's your...
Of course.
So I'm going to shout out my neck of the woods.
And, of course, the home of Lauren Conzen, who has had excellent career there, an excellent program. Rick Cole's family playing through it. Our Vice President, Director of Athletics.
Yeah, by the way, could you have given me a harder job here today to follow him? Like, the institutional knowledge that he has of volleyball is ridiculous.
I tried to keep him on. He said he was one and done.
And I was going to sign on for that. Like, let him keep going. He like George Costanza it, right? He had the, he made the joke and he walked out the door.
Timeout, Towson, 23-17. Panair Erlol will check in and take the service in a moment. This is their largest lead of 6 in the entire match. Errol's last appearance, by the way, coming a couple of weeks ago at Ryder. Has only had 3 appearances here at home, and it came all the way back in September. So Emily Mansour with a 6-point lead, going to her bench a little bit more. Hofstra looking to tie things up. And something that we mentioned before, right? It hasn't been great today, but it's been better in this set. They've held Towson to 212. They're the best in the entire nation on opponent hitting percentage. The entire nation. I mean, you look at those other teams. The number 2 team is Nebraska. I mean, when you think of volleyball, Nebraska is definitely one of the first names of schools that come to my mind. But, I mean, it has been so impressive what Hofstra has done on the defensive side, all different facets. But in this one, Towson has had some opportunities. And Pride team, they just need to buckle it.
And Mansoura said, listen, it's working. Our system is working. It's really exciting. She says they try not to stress too much on the stats. It's about the day-to-day, weekend-to-weekend. But as a staff, yeah, of course, they're going to look at that. They're going to talk about it. And listen, Hofstra has put up such a good block.
Ball. And the point. Set point, Pride. Clara Ball, 4 kills. Our hitting percentage not great today. 4 kills, 3 errors, but and you always have to be weary when she comes out there with that powerful right arm. Set point, Pride. Pass Pagan. That is too far. We'll be playing at least 4 today. A 14-5 run by Hofstra takes set number 2, 25-17. Third set upcoming, just moments away. Don't go anywhere. It's a big one in NCAA volleyball, and it's only on MSG and Flow College.
Apple Bank opened its doors over 160 years ago.
And back then, it was all about one-on-one banking. In today's world, banking's all about easy and convenient, and saving you time for the moments that matter.
We get that, but sometimes you need to speak with someone to make it happen. And at Apple Bank, that's what we still do. One-on-one service since the day we first opened.
Welcome to Apple Bank. How can I help you?
Easy, convenient, personal banking.
Apple Bank, your neighbor, your bank since 1863.
Hofstra Hello means to me family.
Community of opportunities.
People.
A home away from home.
Tradition.
Connections.
Religion.
Friendship.
For 75 years, Hofstra Hillel, the Center for Jewish Life on campus, has been serving the Hofstra community. Thousands of students of all backgrounds have participated in our weekly classes, travel programs, service projects, and holiday celebrations. Especially now, when students need us most, please support Hofstra Hillel. Go to hofstrahillel.org for more information.
QFA's 5-star offense maximizes client returns, while the 5-star defense generates additional current income while mitigating risk. To learn more, reach out to co-founder and Hofstra alumni Joe Rinaldi or register on their website at qfainc.com.
This is the CAA on Flow College.
You play any instruments, Dylan? You play the tuba?
I have not, no.
What about guitar? Bass?
No.
Nothing? That's disappointing.
None of those, yeah.
That's
sorry.
disappointing. We should get you out there. Start joining in. My high school cello playing days, I think, are far over. As the Hofstra Pep Band getting themselves ready.
I can do cowbell.
Cowbell. You'd be great at cowbell.
Right.
As long as you have some rhythm, definitely would be great at cowbell. Hofstra and Towson tied at 1 apiece through the first 2 sets. This has been as good as expected. A real good back and forth battle for this Friday afternoon, the first of 2. And Hofstra and Towson tomorrow play the second one. Busy weekend here for Hofstra. Of course, the Pride men's soccer team also playing on Sunday. There's Lori Goddard as Player of the Year, Midfielder of the Year. Took 2 major awards. Congratulations to him. Semifinals will be this Sunday, 2 p.m. with all the action against Stony Brook. Pride looking to win their 5th straight CAA championship. Richard Nuttall in his final season, who is in the building, not too far away from us. All right, some highlights here from the second set. And Hofstra's pins really starting to get some good swings in the ball here.
Yeah, and a lot of different players have stepped up in that second set. I think especially when you look at the Pride and their ability to bounce back, a lot of credit goes to Clara Ball, right? And just the energy she brought coming off the bench. And of course, you've got your usual suspects as well with Stagely and Braga. As Hofstra, big rebound from losing that first set.
Look at those numbers, much better in terms of hitting percentage and in terms of opponent hitting percentage. If you're looking at it from the Hofstra perspective, Towson now hitting .253 in the match, which is still a lot higher than what Hofstra has been holding opponents to. You knew the Tigers were going to come in here and hit the ball well. It's something they do well. They hit effectively, they hit efficiently. And Emily Mansour's group in the first set get a little out of sorts, costing themselves some points. And now here you are. It's a best of 3. That's the way you have to look at it right now. This is a best of 3. Win 2 of them. And you pick up your 11th win of the CAA slate.
And it's been as advertised, right? And both coaches thought this was a great late regular season test to get them both ready for the CAA tournament,
which will be in just a couple of weeks. Towson is on a bye next week. This is their final weekend of CAA play, while Hofstra will go up to Boston. They'll be shipping up there in a bus. Not a ship. They'll be heading up there to Northeastern to take on the Huskies in a really important weekend for them, which could decide if they take home the regular season title or not. Towson up here 1-0. And a quick little fix of the floor. And we're back underway from Macy Jesse. High in the air. It had to be set by Stagely and a swing from Braga. Sanders, who had an excellent first 2 sets with 9 kills. Right side, Braga floats it across. Stewart, Sanders, hands on the ball as Hofstra normally does. And putting it to the floor, Valentina Lopez Moya.
And that's exactly what Hofstra likes about Lopez Moya, that she was the #1 middle. She got injured, but offensively, biggest threat they have in that position.
I have not seen her since the Charleston weekend, where she had 10 kills in 5 sets on 19 attacks. Julia Amarim has not appeared in this match. She is out there on the side, sitting in a chair, so not sure if she is 100% ready to go. Of course, just as you start getting your middle blockers back, maybe one might be out. Defensive Player of the Week. Two, Kaya Alp. Kaya Alp across. Left side, popped into the air on the calendar attempt. Stagely, solo block the other direction, and counts.
And again, you love the effort, certainly, as a few different Hofstra players running over and diving into the Pride bench.
Melina Pacel Telefoni. She left American Samoa after her 16th year of life went to go train in Hawaii and decided to finish her high school career there. Ended up committing to Hawaii, wanted to stay closer to American Samoa, her home, and then transferred to Towson. As volleyball in her family, coaches over in American Samoa. So a good get from someone halfway around the world from Don Metal as they lead here by 2. Stagely. Add another one to her kill total. 8 now on 16 attempts.
That's a pretty good percentage right there. I'm not terrific at math, but as Pamitat comes back in to serve.
So 8 on 16 with 2 errors makes it 375 in the match. Pamitat's service popped over. Nunes was the one who got the piece of it. That ball's too far. And Hofstra ties it up at 4 with back-to-back points.
Pamitat, too, with a athletic family. She played volleyball, basketball, softball at Garden City. Her mom, Monique, played volleyball at Adelphi. Dad, Brian, played baseball there.
Ball. Tapped over. Big swing and the floor. Calendar. The Virginian is up to 6 kills. And that will bring up Kaitlyn Moran for the service.
Yeah, she was so good in that first set. A couple of aces out of her.
The 1-point lead, the Tigers. Stagely high in the air for ball. Moran sets now. Calendar too far. Towson wanted the touch. They got the touch. On the block attempt from the right side, Mansour not happy. Stagely blocked the other way. Sarah Calendar having herself an excellent third set.
And I think you could see from the reaction, too, of her teammates, anything positive that you get out of Calendar is so huge. This is someone who came into this season in the best shape of her career. She trained so much over the summer. But as we mentioned, now that injury, that foot injury has kind of limited her. You can't tell that the way that she's hitting the ball, right? And blocking as well. She has the heart to play, and she wants to play. It's just the question of kind of how much can Towson get out of her, and the question that Metal said is how high can she actually physically jump? Looks pretty good, though, through the first 3 sets here.
Second only to Sanders in terms of kills for the team total in 2025 for the Tigers. As for the Pride here, down by 3. You're playing at home. You're playing a really tough Towson group. I mean, and this is one where you know this could decide your entire regular season and carry that momentum into the conference tournament.
And the adversity that they're facing is something that Metal was very impressed with. He says that Hofstra, no matter if it's a point or an error, they're all together. He said sometimes that's maybe something that frustrates a lot of opponents, but they have all the traits of a good bond between teammates and that trust that no matter what, you can get the job done. It's that next point mentality, he said, that has led them.
And winning that point after a timeout, so huge. Here they get the service error, and Isadora Stagely will go through her routine for the service. Stagely, multiple year all-conference performer. Popped over by Calendar. Pemitat to Braga. And the point.
And Braga just hits the ball so hard. She knew straight away that if that took a deflection, it was going to fly out of bounds. And another big point for the Pride. Again, you mentioned it, off of a timeout.
Isadora just misses. Tried the right side, didn't work. Hofstra has not been great on the service in this one. That is 4 errors and just 1 ace. It was Perez's sign. Calendar with a 3-point lead here in the third. Skims the top of the tape. Ball. It's time to jump. Pemitat from the back row. Not much Stage League can do. A dump and does not work. Nice adjustment by the Hofstra defense. Brothers. Aaron Brothers, preseason honorable mention. And playing like an all-conference performer.
And even there, too, it just looked Hofstra seemed just out of sorts, right? Where they didn't get their spacing right. And, yeah, it was kind of a broken play, but still not looking like the Pride team that we've seen throughout. And these are situations that have got to have Don Metal just fuming on that bench where you can't give away points to a team as good as Hofstra. And that's 2 service errors they've had here in the last few points.
The Pride side out. And they'll also move to a 6-2. 2 setters, Pemitat and Gioshvili Rava. From the back row, out of the reach of Pemitat.
And there's Calendar again. And now they get Stewart to serve. She's 4th all-time in Towson for digs. And you mentioned it before. Year in and year out, one of the top programs in the mid-majors.
Lucky bounces. It goes right off the light fixture. That light is rattling up there and gives the Tigers some hope here. Little visiting court advantage. Diouf and the point.
So that's how they got to be 7-0 on the road this year.
They got to learn it very quickly.
Yeah. Well, warm-ups in volleyball are there on the court, I think, a good 2 hours before the match. It's crazy.
We were tied at 4 apiece. It's now an 8-3 run for the Tigers. Lead by 5, now 6. This Pride group who normally has so much life in the building. Towson has really quieted this crowd. They've quieted the Pride bench.
I mean, they've played a perfect road match to this point, right? I mean, there have been a few mistakes that they'll want to clean up, but they have put the pressure on the Pride, and to this point, right, you win the first set. That was so critical, I think, just for the confidence of their group. And now you're ahead 13-7 in the third.
Emily will use her actually just her first time out. 13-7 lead for the Tigers here in this third set. Remember, we're basically to a best of 3 at this point on this first of 2 this weekend.
And like you said, this is it for Towson in the CAA. They have a bye in the last week, which when you're trying to heal up a little bit, that's a plus. But, you know, they want to win these, of course, and then kind of see where the chips fall when the regular season ends.
Sanders with 9, Braga, Stagely, Calendar. Your leaders for today.
And we said it in the open, if Towson, they can clinch at least a share of the regular season, if the regular season title, if they sweep Hofstra, which is also combined then with a couple of Campbell defeats.
An ace. Sydney Stewart. ...109 of them in her collegiate career. Satterlee's 30 service aces each of the last 2 years, and closing in on doing that again. Good defense on that left side. Yoshvili, Rava, Pamitat, Braga back the other way. Stagely there doing everything she can. And touched on the net as Towson grabs another up by 8.
And I think you're seeing a little bit of that too with Amarine not in there and Lopez Moya back. She's not played with the others at the net very often, right? And yeah, of course they practice, but it seems like we're seeing players go for the same ball and maybe not be in sync.
Right side, Purcell Telefoni. After Mansour also put in Kanzan as the libero now.
And the thought with Purcell Telefoni was that she'd be an opposite hitter as you see another look to start the year, but because of injuries, she's been forced to be playing the middle, and she's doing the best she can there, but great jump, spin, serve as well is something that she delivers for this Towson team.
Spins right along the tape and drops down for a much-needed pride point. Ends a 6-0 scoring run. Yoshvili Rava. French native, U21 championship, national team experience. Of course, her sister at Texas, as we mentioned before, who's another phenomenal volleyball player. Real good get here for Emily Mansour, who loves to bring in some international flair. Braga says, let's get going. Back-to-back points.
Yeah, to your point, right? You've got players from Poland, France, Brazil, Turkey, Argentina. And she said, when we're together, the language is English. And of course, you respect each other's culture. But she said, listen, it's New York. It's a melting pot. So, of course, let's have that international flair. His little dunk over the net.
8-point lead, largest today in any set for the Tigers. Jessie takes the service. Kanzan there. Back set, Braga. Back the other way. Their blocking has been so good this afternoon.
And Purcell Telefoni, one of the best in the CAA at that. Third in the league at 1 block per set.
Another swing, another point. Taylor Pagan extends it up to 10.
Yeah, you can see the confidence just oozing out of this Towson team, player to player, a 10-point lead in this third set.
Perez Sign with the kill. We haven't said her name a lot in this last 2 sets. She was on early on. Errol's service, Pagan's hit. Now she sprawls out, Errol, but too far. 20-10.
And the power that Pagan brings is really impressive.
Pagan puts it high in the air. Ball goes right back the other way. Not much control on the serve receive. And Purcell Telefoni puts it right down the middle.
Yeah, the hope coming in, Metal said, is that Purcell Telefoni can maybe put a little pressure on Hofstra, but he referenced it from behind the line.
Real strong serve again from Pagan. Perez Sign cuts it back to 10. Hofstra needs to get on a gigantic run here if they want to salvage the third set. But even if you don't win this set, you can't just lay down, obviously. You got to be able to keep things going and create some momentum for you going into the fourth.
And in that case, you'd say, listen, we've been there before. Maybe not in the situation of being down 2-1 in sets, but you just played a 5-setter on the road, and you got that win.
Stagely pinballs around on the left side and then hits the antenna. Sanders was backed up against the mesh. Back-to-back points for Hofstra. Long Island kid Lauren Konzen, who stepped in as the team's libero in this set. Something we really have not seen this season. Normally the DS of the group. Calendar, no touch, 3 consecutive points. And a timeout from Don Metal.
Yeah, we saw the energy that Konzen brought leading the celebrations earlier in this match, and now she's bringing it on the court, and she's someone who helped lead Connecticut to a state title in 2019, someone who Mansour said just works so hard. And she was competing at the start of the year for that libero position and didn't get it, but she came in as a defensive specialist, and now she has an opportunity here and making the most out of it in this set. And there's an interesting conversation there off to the side.
Stagely, a leader of this group in so many ways. Not a vocal leader, but players gravitate towards her. If you look at the hitting percentage today, I mean, it's been really good for Towson. The area of Hofstra's game, which has been one of their strongest, at least statistically, you mentioned leading the nation in opponent hitting percentage. Towson's hitting .252.
Which is better than anybody else has. I'm not even looking at stats, but again, Hofstra's led the nation in that stat for much of the year. So this indeed a rarity for the Pride.
Lauren Konzen. Her serve after 3 straight points from Hofstra. Back row. Dug up in the back by Errol. Free ball the other way. Sanders. Saved by Stagely in that front row. Errol too far, no touch. And they'll make a change down just 3 points after the side out.
And you bring in one of your most steady players at the service line in Pembenito.
Sends it short. Free ball again. And the back row. Brothers puts it in a perfect spot. Brothers 6 kills now on 9 attempts.
She has been really good today and really throughout the season as well. She's right at a little more than 2.5 kills per set averaging this season.
Paris sign, block attempt doesn't go. Stagely's there, showing those ups along the net.
A little dunk over the net. Needed, but as you said, you can't trade points when you are trailing by 9 this late in the set. So if Hofstra has a big run in them, it's got to happen now.
Habitat back on. Georgia Alert will check in for the first time today, number 23. And Clara Ball gets the block the minute she comes on with Alert. And
it just feels like Mansour is trying to find that combination, right, of the all the right players on the court at the same time who can provide that spark.
Kamitat, who was the team's primary setter last year. The dump does not work. Good save by Konzen. Can't save that one. Oh, brother. Aaron Brothers. 7 kills. Set point.
And she's one, too, that defensively, she's always taking care of the ball. And Medal says, look, we look to her to put the ball in play when we need it.
This place is dead silent. Very atypical of a Hofstra volleyball match. The Tigers take set 3, 25-15. And they're heading to the 4th with Towson up 2-1. Back with more Hofstra, Towson, CAA volleyball on MSG. See, Dylan, they have the cowbell over there. You could have played that one. Third set here, and it was wire to wire for Towson. Fewest points Hofstra has put up in a set all season long, just 15. Tigers really just took care of business still.
In all different ways, with all different players as well. Winning the ball to net, being safe with their service. And they were just, listen, it's a reason why you consider them one of the teams to beat in the CAA. And now they've got themselves in pole position here as we head to the 4th set.
Look at those third set numbers. Hofstra hitting at a negative clip, something that they have not really done much this season. As mentioned before, fewest points they've ever put up in a set. Those Tigers, there's a reason why they're one of the conference's best year in and year out. And Emily Mansour knows this team has it pretty much right in front of them. It's been very rare this season when they've dropped 2 sets in a match. Of course, the 2 losses down at Charleston were the big ones, 3-2, the 5-setters on the road, but NCAA last weekend, so they got some of that exposure again, first time in a while. And Hofstra will be looking to get to a 5th set in a must-win 4th. Nina Gioshvili-Rava will start with the ball. Hofstra from left to right. Home white jerseys, blue bottoms. Towson in there, all black, trimmed with white and golds. Fourth set. We're underway. And picking up right where she left off, Purcell Telefoni.
I don't know, Dan, maybe Metal in our conversation had a little announcer rope-a-dope with us, because all he did was pump up the pride and talked about how difficult it was going to be on his side. They took that first set, and they have been largely in control throughout.
And a miss again on the back end. Perez Sign looking for that far corner. An attack error for her. It's her fourth error of 6 kills. Another good hard serve. And right down the middle as Lopez Moya, the native out of Argentina, cuts the deficit to 1. Braga, cross court. Sanders. That one goes. Didn't have a kill last set. It was unbelievable the first 2. She's now in double figures for only the second time in the last 5 matches.
Yeah, and that was the 5 matches you mentioned. They had 3 losses in those 5. So when they play well, it's a big reason is because Ella Sanders plays well.
Stagely up to 10 herself. It's been at least in double figures all but 2 matches this year. And she had 2 against FDU and only on 3 attacks. So that's a ridiculous percentage, 666, but in a small sample size. And then just 5 kills in a 3-set sweep last Friday where they rested her.
And there was Brothers again in the middle.
Brothers up to 8 kills, 4 total blocks. A player with more than 400 kills and now 200 total blocks in her career. Ducek. They haven't called her number in a long time. That's her second. Pride down by 1.
Yeah, I think that first kill came in the first set, so it has been a while as we've seen a lot of a deeper trip to the bench, I think, than usual for Mansour in this one.
Pamitat, who now comes on, along with Ball. Those 2 have been part of a rotation together.
And now there's Diouf again, the junior out of France. You mentioned the transfer from Old Dominion. Dynamic, jumps well, great blocker as well.
5-3 lead for Towson. 2-1 lead in the match. Braga, no answer. Pagan cross court, back set. Stagely ricochets off the Pride logo that sits on that ceiling. Free ball over. Ball denied. I'm not sure if Diouf even got a piece of it or it was just a total miss, but it is a Towson point.
And now a conversation at the table. No challenge yet, or we will have a challenge now from Mansour. So we'll see what this was about.
So it is a challenge for touch.
Mansour, 2005 graduate out of Iona, terrific volleyball player in her day. 219 wins here for the Pride.
So Sydney Stewart, team captain, and libero, tries to get her explanation back to her group, and they will challenge the ruling Mansour saying there was a touch on it. There's non-medal. And they can finish with 13-3 records, still having a chance to win this CAA regular season. Let's take a look at this again. So it never crossed. Did it touch Diouf?
Well, that's the argument that Hofstra is making. It didn't look like it at all, right?
Yeah, from that angle, it doesn't seem like it touched her at all. You don't lose a timeout for a missed challenge. It's not like the NFL. It's something that you do have in your pocket for each set and a set number in each set. As Mansour heads over to have a conversation with her group. Always passionate. Loves being here. You really have to shout out something that not many people know, that her husband is a doctor and has basically set his career here in this area so Emily can continue to be the head coach of Hofstra. Two wonderful kids here every single match. Her parents come to every single match bringing the kids, and she has continuously been the staple of this program, has been the face of this program, and has built a real community of Hofstra volleyball. Phenomenal person.
And we hope that her daughter is feeling better. I think a little bit of a cold.
Oh, that thing's going around everywhere.
Going through her family. My daughter said, "Why does my teacher make me have hand sanitizer all the time?" We're like, "You haven't been sick, have you?" Good teacher you have. As the challenge, it was upheld, so it's a point for Towson.
6-3 lead for the Tigers. They have been playing some great defense. Clara Ball tries to get her group going. 5 for her with 4 errors. Clara's second team All CAA last year. Closing in on 1,000 in her career. Well, she would be the 19th player to ever do so. Diouf. And another point off the deflection. Down by 3.
Yeah, Shalonda has been really, really good. And in many ways, Dan, it kind of feels like the roles of these two teams, like what we talked about in the Open, it feels like it's reversed here today.
Braga. And the point.
Look out, Len over there at the table.
Len Skoros, a staple. Everyone's a staple, I guess, in a way. Around some people who, you come here to Hofstra, you don't leave here. Let's put it that way. The best, Len Skoros. Diouf. Oh, their big swing. We'll get another go at it. Try the dump, and it works beautifully. Boy, Kaitlyn Moran has been so impressive today. Her court vision has been excellent.
And why not, right? Why not? With the lead, up a set as well. Just go with some creativity. Has now Maisie Jesse to serve for the Tigers. I just saw a good look at that. A little bit of a change up.
Hamitat to Ball. Call middle. Sanders, another one. 11 for her, 4-point lead for the Tigers. Braga. Stewart there. And that's a violation against Towson.
Yeah, Purcell Telefoni trying to dunk it over. That's the 3-point deficit now for the Pride.
Gioshvili Rava. The French freshman. who right now is no doubt the front runner for Rookie of the Year in this conference. Braga, too far, nothing there, so it's a 10-6 lead now for Towson.
Yeah, she's someone who has won that Rookie of the Week award 4 times, including 3 consecutive times. No one else coming anywhere close to that this year.
Yoshvili back set Braga. Popped high into the air. They'll go near side. And Calendar picks up another 9 for her on 25 attempts. Timeout, Hofstra, as they trail by 5 in this must-needed set. This team has not led since they won the second set. Remember, what's so important about this match? Well, a lot. I mean, you look at the CAA standings, Hofstra at 10-2, Towson 11-3 in third place. Obviously, dropping those 2 last weekend out at Stony Brook versus Stony Brook was so huge. They'll be done after this weekend. Campbell still has Northeastern today, tomorrow, and then NCAA, who's also fighting for a postseason position of getting in as one of the top 6. So all of those teams that are in action need a victory this weekend. They need to try and take 2.
Yeah, and Towson already knew they were in, but as we said, it kind of felt like a long shot, and maybe it still is a long shot that they can clinch a share of the regular season title. They'd have to do so with a sweep of Hofstra, along with a couple of Campbell losses to Northeastern.
Alexa Mork will substitute on. Sophomore defensive specialist out of Westchester, Pennsylvania.
And she has that same role as Pembenito. Nice and calm, doesn't make a lot of service errors.
Stagely saves it. Perez sign. Can't get it over. You appreciate the effort on the defensive end for Hofstra, but boy, that was right on a tee.
And Metal said, first we'll go for it. We'll go for those jump spin serves, but we want, of course, now I just did the announcer jinx. I was going to say, when you want to make sure you don't have a service error, you go to Pembenito and Mork.
Braga. Holds it over the net. Sanders. Under deflection. High pass. Stagely denied. They've done a really good job on her. Always 2 hands every time she's swinging. And this one on the block attempt goes out of bounds. Point Hofstra down by 4.
Yeah, and this time it was Purcell Telefoni and Ella Sanders providing the defense for Towson.
Braga. Up the middle. Denied by the Pride. Stagely. Calendar works through the block attempt. Sarah Calendar, 11 kills, tied for the match best.
And now you're bringing Pembenito.
That's President Poser, who's always at every sporting event. She's everywhere.
Yeah, not her first volleyball match.
Now, she is here almost every single match. And she's somebody that attends the majority of athletic events on her already jam-packed schedule. She has a lot of pride, yes, pun intended, on that one.
We're 1 for 1 with those today.
Kaya Alp, the service, the swing, Brothers again. 9 on 12, 2 errors, 4 total blocks for Erin Brothers, the senior out of Ohio.
And Metal said, really important to stay in system, get her going early. Well, she has got going early middle and late as well in this one.
Moran. There is Sign. Punched back. The swing calendar denied by Perez. Sign and Ducek were there. Down by 4. Again, the Pride have not led in this any 2 sets, the last 2 sets. They have not led any bit of the 3rd set, any bit here of the 4th.
Yeah, you have to go back to that 2nd set when they won 25-17. As they're trying to chip away here.
Habitat, Moran, brothers. And running into each other, but still getting over was Stagely and Kaya Alp. Denied by Ball. Clara Ball back down to 3.
We might have a challenge here out of Towson.
Challenging a double hit.
Yeah. It was right over by the scorer's table. And you can see the coaching staff right away calling for that. I think it was especially Terry Hutchinson, the 7th-year assistant coach. Medal the winningest coach in program history.
So we're looking at Clara Ball here. Did it hit the second hand? She goes up. Hits the right hand. Does it hit the left hand as it comes down? That is what is in question.
I mean, at our look there, I didn't think so.
Call was a block for Hofstra.
Here's your favorite angle.
Does it hit Ducek too? I don't think it does from the other angle that we saw. Hofstra keeps the point. We did not have to bring in our rules analyst for this one. It's 14-11 here in the 4th set, and Hofstra needs to win this set to keep the match alive.
That rules analyst, by the way, Richie Nuttall.
I'm sorry, that's about the last person I would trust to come in here and be our rules analyst. No disrespect, Richie Nuttall, 37th year head coach of Hofstra. Consecutive points for the Pride, down by 2. Pamitat across the middle. Moran, another good set. Diouf. I mean, she has been consistent today. 8 kills on 18.
And I think to lead, and they've not, of course, yet beat Hofstra, but to lead a team like Hofstra, you do need multiple players. And we've seen brothers in the middle, Diouf as well coming in, and Stewart has been very good. Calendar and Pagan as well.
Braga gets to it first. Ball's the one who takes the attack and earns the point. Clara Ball pinpointing it in the back corner. Stagely now. Isadora with 10 aces, 15 errors coming into today. Brothers picks up another. She's up to 10, 3rd member of the Tigers with 10 or more kills.
And it feels like every one of them are super timely. As we'll have a timeout for Towson, up 3 here in the 4th set.
Rare timeout from a team when they just earn the point. Usually you do not see that happen. Doesn't happen very often. So both teams down to their final timeout here in the 4th set. 3 different players in this match have 11 kills. Braga with 10, Brothers with 10. Hofstra hitting under 200 in the match. A group that hits 267, 22nd best in the nation, best in the conference, and holds opponents to the best hitting percentage, lowest hitting percentage that is. Number 1 in the NCAA, and Towson is hitting 269 against them.
It's a rarity today, right, Dan? I mean, you look at all those stats, points tops in the CAA, opponent hitting percentage tops in the CAA, hitting percentage, opponent assists, their own assists, opponent kills, their own kills. All of those lead the CAA. Blocks as well.
Another double-double for Isadora. 13 of now her 19 matches this season. She has earned a double-double, kills and digs. Not many better in this conference. She can't reach that one. 17-13.
And Diouf, similar to ball for Hofstra, just a literal ball of energy, and it's infectious for this Towson team. Here she is again.
One counts for the Pride, down 3.
And you just show the points, and we talked about the stats, but it's been quiet for Braga in this one.
Hofstra in general has 20 less attacks than Towson does. The swing from Pagan, dug up in the back row. Braga, another much needed point. Back-to-back Ks for Braga. Ducek back on the line.
And it was Ducek's dig that helped keep that alive for Hofstra.
Lilia Ducek into the net.
Just kills you. I mean, they've gotten within 2 a couple of times, and then a service error. And here comes Maisie Jesse the other way.
1 ace, 5 errors today at the service line. Not going to cut it. Right side, Sanders drops it in there. Just past the sprawling Kaya Alp.
And maybe the most honesty that we got out of Metal was about the season and how it's gone. He says, we thought we put ourselves in a good position early. Yeah, we've dropped a couple of matches, but honestly, he said people from the outside looking in, they don't get an internal look, and they don't see the injuries and where we are culturally. He says we're probably right where we should be. And what a statement this is throughout the CAA. As point to Hofstra there on that deflection.
Touch and the point, 19-16. Ball in Pemitet out. Enters in Gioshvili Rava and Perez Sign. Stagely never comes off. Boy, that dump has worked so well. Pride have not had an answer for it today. Taylor Pagan out of Florida. Big, heavy serve across the middle of the court. Braga off the body of Pagan. Gioshvili Rava to Perez Sign. No. They call from the back row. Pagan off the body of Stagely, and 15 rows up. 21-16. Taylor Pagan.
Yeah, look out Hofstra bands as Pagan. And that was a point, I feel like, that just sort of was emblematic of what we've seen here today, Dan, where just Towson, it feels like, on the front foot, just continuing to be aggressive, continuing to push the pace as you see it again. First, a dig by one of the best in the country at that by Stewart, and then Pagan bringing the heat.
The angles of their shot have been excellent. That's why they're hitting .283, the Tigers, in this match. And Hofstra has been so good at home. We brought it up during the Open. They had 21 straight sets won here at home entering into today. Lost the first set. Have not lost here at the Physical Education Building this season.
And then the reverse of that is Towson on the road, looking to go 8-0. And what a response, too, this would be coming off of getting swept by Stony Brook at home.
Absolutely. Pagan. Yoshvili Rava. High set for Braga. And the points. 13 for Braga.
Yeah, that one looked like there was a lot of frustration in that hit, right?
Braga. An ace. As she pumps her fist and says, let's get going. Down by 3. Hofstra not out of it yet. The offensive player of the week in the CAA, Beatrice Braga, denied by Nunez. Right side, Sanders, wide. 3 in a row for Hofstra, down by 2. Final timeout called by Towson. Both teams out of timeouts here in the 4th.
And that's more like the pride that we're used to seeing here this year. But now they're back at that familiar deficit, right? That 2-point deficit. It feels like they've not been able to get over that hump in this set. And if they do, of course, Braga will be so instrumental to dig them out of this hole. As you see her numbers here this afternoon for Braga. 13 kills. You see the 15 points, the 8 digs, excuse me.
Started off really strong in that first set, and now picking it back up here has been kind of steady in the other 2. Remember, Hofstra has not led in this set or in the 3rd set. Need a win to continue on this match. First of 2 this weekend against the Tigers. They'll take them on tomorrow here. And then next week up in Boston to close out the regular season. And what a magical season this has been. First 9-0 start, second ever, first one since 1988. Tied for the second best start through 20 matches since that 2014 championship team. And here they have 4 straight points. They're down by just 1. Emily Nunez.
They came into this one too, Dan, with the longest winning streak in the conference at 9. And we talked about how quiet this place is. You get a point here, this place is going to be alive.
Nice job by Braga in the back. Stagely got the touch. 21-all. 5-0 run.
And now that energy is back here.
21-21. Braga again with the dig, this time on Calendar. Stagely. Sanders. Point Towson. 22-21. Purcell Telefoni will not serve here. She'll be subbed out.
And instead they go to Pembenito, the sophomore.
Pembenito closing in on 100 career sets played. Sends it across the middle. Stagely tied up at 22. Less than 10 minutes ago, this place sounded like a library. Now the fans are back into it.
Oh, what a chance here. For Hofstra to take their first lead since the second set.
22-22. Much needed point here for Hofstra. Taking 5 of the last 6 points. And this is definitely a discussion over substitution and rotation. Errol was going to come on. And now Emily Mansour is saying, let's go, let's keep this going here. She wants the momentum. The two officials are going to come together. You don't usually see them leave their post to have a discussion.
Yeah, this is rare indeed. And
they have the microphones so they can speak to one another from across the court.
And all of those substitutions are kept at the table. And the crowd trying to keep this energy alive with the Let's Go Hofstra chants. And let's see what we have out of this.
(22-22). Hofstra has taken 5 of the last 6 points.
I'm just trying to read some body language, and I think it looked like where they were saying that Errol, by coming over to sub, that she had to come, I thought to come on, but maybe they didn't go through the actual full motion of the substitution. Regardless.
This would be the libero substitution. After the side out. Here we go, 22-22. Violation against Hofstra on the service. Saying Kaitlyn went over that back line.
And now Moran to serve for Towson. With the Tigers now 2 points from winning this one.
Nunez returns to then come back off. Libero substitution. Moran up by 1 as they'll sort out the rotations in the book. And neither team has a timeout remaining. 4th set. Perez sign tied at 23.
What a huge shot by Perez Sign, the sophomore from Argentina. She's one who Mansour says her personality just goes through everybody. She makes everyone around her better.
Ellie Pamitat. They could take 3 straight points. They win the 4th. Diouf, match point. Boy, she's been good.
She really has. She's another, too, that it feels like every single kill that she gets is absolutely critical.
Her 9th on 19. Match point, Towson. Stagely out of bounds. We'll need some extra points here in the 4th. Isadora Stagely with the ball in her hands. Needs to rattle off 2 to force a 5th and decisive set on this Friday. Brothers saved in the back by Stagely. Braga. Stewart with her dig. Free ball across. Braga. The point. Set point, Pride.
And that's their first lead now since the 2nd set. And now Stage looking to try to close this one out.
No timeouts remaining, so you can't ice her here. Stagely. Stewart there first. Moran, they call the middle, and Brothers is there. 11 kills for her. Tied at 25.
And that's a call they've made numerous occasions and to great effect. And now you've got Stewart to serve.
Sydney Stewart, captain and leader, goes without saying. Braga in. Set point again for Hofstra.
And now we're seeing these 2 CAA juggernauts go toe for toe here.
Lilia Ducek. (26-25). Skims off the roof. Pagan from the back row. Braga. Stewart, nicely done. Free ball for Hofstra. Braga goes back. Braga again. Stewart there one more time. Plays it off the ceiling. Big swing by Calendar. Saved up on the roof. Free ball for Towson now. Moran goes back to the dump, and it works. Keeps the Tigers alive in the 4th. What a call.
Stewart with her hand over her mouth. Like, I can't believe we just did that.
Hofstra is challenging here for an illegal hit from the back row.
And this is a good decision by Manser because even if it's not, you do get a free timeout out of it. But how about best on best here? Braga as a hitter, Stewart as someone defensively who could dig the ball. 2 of the best in the CAA just going at it here in the 4th set. That was fun.
So let's see if any player from the back row hits inside of that 10-foot line. That's where you're looking for. If they hit it inside of that blue at any point.
That was one of the first digs there by Stewart. She's going to get another one, I think.
This is the entire sequence.
There she is again. I think that's where it's in question, right? And the last one, was she inside of that?
It is point Towson. And Moran has been so good in dropping that dump in there multiple times today, catching Hofstra off guard. So the call stands. It's 26-all here in the 4th. Braga. Set point again. Beatrice up to 16.
This time hit it where Stewart's not.
27-26. Nina Gioshvili Rava. with a chance to force a fifth. Pagan. They'll set Braga again. Why not? Blocked again on the right side. Pagan and Moran tied at 27.
Of all the knowns of this team, yeah, they've all delivered, but Moran has really risen to the occasion in this one. We knew her ability to serve the ball, but then even there, what she was able to do at the net, really impressive.
Taylor Pagan missed that in basically entire month of October to an injury. Takes the serve, tied at 27. Perez sign and set point again.
And that's one that Stewart wasn't able to hold on to. As now Braga trying to serve the set out.
This is the fourth set point for Hofstra in the fourth. Pagan. Kaya Alp the save. Stagely puts it over. Moran. Calendar. Dug into the stands. 28-28.
And Calendar hit that at such a great angle that should Hofstra be able to dig it out, which they did, that was going to go out of bounds.
Into the mesh. Their libero, Neil Kayaalp, the junior out of Turkey. Fifth set point in this fourth. Last time she took a violation here. 29-28. Calendar. Block still alive. Free ball for Hofstra. Stagely. Let's go the distance. A 14-7 Hofstra run forces a fifth and final set. It's Hofstra and Towson. Fifth set upcoming. What a fourth set. Hofstra trailed the majority of it. We had 5 different set points for the Pride. Every time Hofstra had something, the Tigers answered right back, Dylan. And that's what made this so entertaining.
Listen, it's 2 of the best teams in this conference. Just in the middle of the ring, slugging it out. What an incredible end to that fourth set. And now you wonder, right? Who's got the advantage? Is it Hofstra for clawing their way back? As you see some of the fourth set stats. And again, it's a Pride team that I'm sure in that huddle, that conversation, hey, we were just here in our last match. We went to 5 down in North Carolina, and we won in doing so.
Hofstra is 2-2 in 5-set matches this year. Army, they defeated early on in the season. NCAA, as Dylan just alluded to, and early on this season, the 2 losses that they've had were both at Charleston. Those were 2 tough 5-setters. Meanwhile, the Tigers, this is their 8th 5th-set match. They're 5-2 in those. The 2 losses they have are against Fairfield in September and Elon early on in the CAA slate.
And that was their most recent 5-set match back on October 18th.
It's the best of 15. They'll flip halfway through on the points. Towson service first. Hofstra tries the dump with Gioshvili Rava, but it's a point the other direction for the Tigers, who take a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, Purcell Telefoni's like, I see that dump, and I'll raise you one.
Jesse. Braga. She's been excellent the last 2 sets. 17 for her now in this match.
Yeah, I had said at one point it looked like she was having a quiet match. Well, she really has raised her level and the collective energy level in this gym, especially in that 4th set.
Gioshvili Rava played along the net. Sanders too far. 2-1 lead for Hofstra. Nina Gioshvili Rava. And there's going to be a challenge, and I'm actually not surprised by that at all. I thought it actually was in that back row. So let's take a look at it. Are they challenging a double hit? I thought it was actually in the back row, but that's just me. I'm also all the way up here.
Yeah. Well, the official will go over to where Eric Klein is, as you do get that additional challenge in the 5th set. I'll be in Klein's seat tomorrow doing that DV Sport replay.
Are you going to give analysis during the entire match?
Yeah, just give me a headset.
Okay.
If you could, I'm sure Raj can get the chords going all the way over there.
I was going to say, I think it might be a little annoying to the referee. That's all I'm saying. Let's take a look at this again. No, my eyes are way off, first of all. That looked pretty close. So did it double hit, or did it hit at all? Perez sign. Looks pretty close. Perez sign right away said, no, it did not touch me. Nothing against her as a person, but I'm going to guess that she could be lying. I don't think she's going to be totally truthful about that one if it did touch her. So that's where it looks like the call is being looked at. Did it change direction? It does look very close from that angle. And
it's got to be definitive to change the initial call.
We've had a lot of reviews in this one. Almost every timeout has been used in this one. And here we go. Let's get the call. Not definitive. Hofstra point. Gioshvili Rava back with the ball.
Second in the CAA and 18th in the country in service aces.
Pagan. Braga. Another one. 18 for her.
And that was Gioshvili Rava with a terrific set. Is now the Pride with a 2-point lead. And again, just a 15.
Call the middle. Saved by Gioshvili Rava, but couldn't be towards the net. Another good middle call. Purcell Telefoni guts it back to 1. Nunes.
I feel like we haven't called her name in a while. Emily Nunes, the senior out of Brazil. Big kill there.
Welcome back, Emily. 4 kills for her, just her 3rd appearance in the last month plus. 4-2. Denied again. Nunes and Perez sign on the right side block. 5-2.
And I'll tell you, as bleak as it looked for Hofstra, now it's the opposite. This is the Pride that I feel like we and everyone in this gym have seen throughout.
2-4, no touch. 6-2 lead. And a timeout called as expected, the first of their 2.
And think about this too, Dan. If Hofstra is able to win this one, right, they'll head into tomorrow's match, which is also huge, against Towson, saying, we just went the distance in back-to-back matches, and we've pulled out the win. And also, obviously, the second being against the Towson team, one of the best in the CAA. So it's a team that hasn't been challenged like this really throughout much of the season. The story has been about the sweeps of all the other conference opponents. That was until Sunday down in North Carolina when they were finally pushed to 5, won that one, and now they've got a 4-point lead here in the 5th set.
The other one that's really important tonight, Campbell Northeastern. Campbell up 25-15. Well, actually, Campbell took set 1, 25-15, excuse me. So they have a 1-0 lead over the Huskies in their first of 2 this weekend.
And that North Carolina A&T Stony Brook one is pretty big as well. Trying to determine who the 6 teams in. We do have 3 teams in, so 3 more left to fill out the field.
Braga up by 4. Calendar. Sarah Calendar. 13 kills for her, at least 12 kills in 3 straight matches now for the 6-foot senior out of Virginia.
And that set up perfectly for the Tigers, as it was a nice, easy dig for Stewart. As we said, came into this one with 495 digs, leading the conference, 14th in the country.
Back set, Perez sign. Pagan's there in the back row. Brothers swings and hits again. Of her 17 total attacks, 12 of them have been kills, just 2 errors.
Yeah, that is efficiency at its best from a position that you don't normally get.
Service error, 3-point lead. Konzen was the person in question here. in terms of a substitution. You know this is going to be a cat and mouse game no matter what. I mean, these are two excellent coaches in this conference, two programs that have the utmost respect for one another.
But also two fierce competitors.
Yeah, to say the least.
I feel like we've seen a little bit of everything here. As Stewart will report back to the bench.
And
now they've used their challenge.
So they're all going to have a conversation here. So both officials are over at the table now. Ronald Sparks is the referee who is sitting atop. And now he'll head over. This is all about the way the rotation is with substitutions and whatnot. And a 7-4 lead for Hofstra here in a fifth set.
But also could be about some gamesmanship as well, right? You want to slow things down
and perfect on the road this season. Have that advantage of playing in the conference tournament, of course, on their home court, a place that they're so familiar with. Beautiful facilities down there as well in Towson.
Maybe they'd rather play away, considering how good they've been on the road.
So they got the paper out. The rotations are out. Everyone's got their glasses on. And the full conversation is coming in terms of the rotation. I have no clue exactly what the rotation was. I don't track that. I'm all the way up here, so I'm not even going to guess, and I'm just going to say, watch and enjoy.
I think Rick Cole would probably have a good idea of the rotations. And what it does, though, mostly is slow down momentum for Hofstra. So even if this entire stoppage, nothing happens out of it, what does happen is, maybe that momentum that Hofstra was riding is stopped. Well, Dan, we're back to volleyball.
From left to right we go, 7-4. 25-20 Towson first set, 25-17 Hofstra second set. Hofstra has their lowest point total in any set this season, falling 25-15 in the third. They take the fourth, 30-28, and here we are in the fifth. Perez signed wanted touch, not going to get it. And Emily Mansour not happy with maybe her decision on how she approached that. So it's a 7-5 lead for Hofstra. That's Kaitlyn Moran, who has been unbelievable today in so many ways, lines up. Service error.
And again, she's been so good at serving the ball. So now we will switch sides with Hofstra leading 8-5.
So Towson takes from left to right now, Hofstra from right to left. And both groups make their way from one bench to the next.
Doing so rapidly. Usually there's like 3 minutes in between.
Ellie Pamitat serves from right to left. So after that long delay, which was for the substitution violation that did not come, Towson takes this point 8-6 lead for the Pride.
It was Calendar again, another kill for her.
Big swing from Stagely.
I felt like I would have jinxed it, but I was going to say that was setting up really nicely. Good distance on the set, and then Stagely brought it down with some thunder.
9-6 lead for the Pride.
Why not? Go back to the middle to Brothers.
Down by 2. Stewart. Braga. Good save.
Oh.
Kaitlyn diving out, keeping the play alive. Diouf. Violation against Hofstra. Down to just 1.
If I'm not mistaken, I think the Pride, well, they'll take a timeout here. I was going to say they have a challenge, I think, left for them as well. But instead, they'll call a timeout here, up 1, set 5.
9-8, and an unbelievable match between these two in the 5th set. Emily Mansour will be the first one to say it. They were not great today.
No.
At all. But battling adversity where it matters most, and that's something exactly that Don Metal brought up, was battling that adversity, getting themselves, and that's what made Hofstra so impressive this season.
And Mansour mentioned it as well, in the sense that, again, they just played a 5-setter. Now, when you do, and you have as much success as Hofstra has, she'll readily admit, yeah, there was a lot of things we weren't happy about down in North Carolina, but they come back and they get that big win, and that just leads to being battle tested, and that's going to be the case in the CAA tournament as well.
3 straight points for the Tigers. And Hofstra, don't forget, red hot, 9 consecutive wins. Their second 9-match win streak this season. A win makes it 10, gets them to 11 wins in conference play, and inches a little bit closer to a regular season title. Braga, from the 10-foot line, earns another 19 for her.
There's been 4 regular season championships in program history. You go back-to-back in 05 and 06, and then you had a share of it in 2015 and 18 for Hofstra. And you mentioned Towson, right, and how they've perennially been one of the leaders of this conference. How about 8 regular season titles and 4 tournament titles for the Tigers?
Lauren Konzen, who did don the libero jersey for a couple of sets. Moran's back set, Diouf. 11 kills. Shalonda Diouf, the French native, on her 3rd school, McNeese State ODU, her previous stops, cuts it down to 1. And Maisie Jesse, the junior out of Arizona, with an opportunity to tie the score at 10.
One of the leaders in assists in the CAA.
Braga, not much she can do on it. Tough play for Pamitat along the net. Tied up in the 5th. Ella Sanders, 14 kills. Now let's see if Mansour will use that final timeout here. Still has it in her pocket. Both coaches do have one. Maisie Jesse, 2 aces last weekend. None today. Ball, the big swing. Saved by Stewart. They'll call Ball's number again. nearly blocked all the way down. Braga was there to keep it alive for the Pride. Tied at 10 here in the 5th. Hands on that attempt from the right side. Ball, one more time. Couldn't get much on it. Sanders there. Pagan, no. Blocked the other way. They call middle. Sanders, that one goes.
That one of the longest rallies in this one. And another kill from the middle. As it's now Towson with the lead.
First lead for Towson since they were up 24-23 in the 4th set. And there were a lot of points that were still played, Dylan, at the end of that 4th set. Pass to Braga. 20 kills for her in 3 straight matches, tied up at 11.
Yeah, Purcell Telefoni got up on that, but nothing she could do, and the force of that Braga hit was coming at her.
Gioshvili Rava. Service ace.
What a time for one of those.
First one today for Gioshvili Rava. Only the 3rd for the Pride in the match.
38 now on the season for her.
1 point lead here in the 5th. Pagan was there. Calendar gets the call. Dug up in the back row. Braga looking for 21. Is there touch? There is. The amazing play of Beatriz Braga continues.
And this will be one that Meadow will challenge. So their second challenge of the 5th set. (13-11). Challenging a deflection on this. And this has to be an obvious call that it did not touch the hands of Pagan. See if the ball changes. See, I thought it touched right there, and
look at her left hand. That's where it looks like it might have touched. There's a crowd around the scorer's table trying to see what the official is taking a look at. Let's look at it from the other angle now.
so hard to see that.
And we have pretty good cameras, too.
Great cameras.
Well, if it stands, it would be her 21st. Either way.
But to your point, you've got to see something definitively there to change the call. The original call was for a touch.
A double-double for Beatriz Braga. And you said it before, what Emily Mansour has said about her. It's amazing to see how much she has progressed over the years. And I think this is going to stand. It does. Based on the reaction of some of the people behind the scorer's table. Not going to call anybody out by name.
There's some smiles back there.
There were some people I did see back there that... 13-11, fifth set. Blocked. Nunes and Braga.
It feels like we haven't called Nunes' name a lot, but when we do, it is huge. And now the crowd here rising to their feet. Match point pride.
It was a rough third and most of the fourth. But the Pride clawed their way in this to force a fifth set. And they take it in 5. The unbelievable season continues for Hofstra. They've won 10 consecutive matches.
There's almost no words. And from the lows that they looked like they were in like that third set, to rally the way that they have, that is, dare I say, like a championship pedigree that the Pride have shown here today.
Unbelievable stuff. And even Don Metal, as he ran over, you saw him. He had smiles on his faces, high-fiving the opposing team. You know, nothing you can do about that. They'll bounce back, try and bounce back tomorrow. But what an unreal performance by Hofstra at the end of that fourth set and then the fifth set, to be able to take this one, win their 11th conference matchup, and go the entire distance here.
And Dan, it's not like a cupcake either they play, right?
Yeah.
It's a Towson team that is top 3 in this conference.
Towson will be back tomorrow, you know that. But a 5-set win for Hofstra here at home. They stay unbeaten at home. They win back-to-back 5-set matches. And there's President Poser as she was embracing the entire team with the hug. And oh, look who's taking the picture. Hofstra Pride women basketball head coach Danielle Santos Atkinson. She does more than just coach basketball.
Versatile.
As President Poser smiles with her team. Emily Mansour has a lot to be proud of, despite a match that, you know, she definitely was not happy with a lot of pieces in that one. But, you know, you look back at that first set, and Towson really took over after Hofstra had such an early, quick start.
And we said, too, they were the aggressor, right? They came out saying, we want to be on the front foot. We want to push the pace of this one. And they certainly did, giving Hofstra just their first set loss since their opener of the year. But then the Pride responds in a big way.
Third set was not pretty for Hofstra, as they did take the second one, and that was one of their most complete sets that they played in the entire match by far. 25-17, second set victory. The third set was,
look away, Hofstra fans.
This was not theirs, and Towson took complete control. They did everything right in this one, in that set, where they were able to really just get their blocks up there. They served well, they receive well, played strong defense, and that's what carried over to end up taking the third set. The fourth one,
yeah, and now you wonder, right, Dan, like, what does this team have? They haven't been challenged a lot. Well, they responded emphatically.
Fourth set, also not a pretty start.
Not the good start, but the way you want to end it.
They had to force their way back. Kyle coming through with some big serves down the stretch there. And Hofstra was able to take away a really fun fourth and final set for that one of 30-28. Stagely and Braga were the two to really get it done. And then here in the fifth, Towson did take a lead at one point, and Hofstra was resilient during the fifth set, able to come away with the victory.
Towson did take a lead, but it did feel like Hofstra, they were in control in that fifth set. The crowd was into it, especially at the end of that fourth set. You see Emily Mansour liking what she's seeing. And another big win for the Pride.
Towson hit pretty darn well during the match, but Hofstra still hit 255. Errors not great on either side in this one. This was just a typical 5-set tough battle between two powers in the conference.
And now you've got a Towson team that's lost 3 straight. All to Long Island teams, right? Twice at home to Stony Brook, once here, and now it's 10 straight wins for Hofstra heading into tomorrow's showdown.
So tomorrow, Hofstra can grab an even better chance at going into the final weekend and playing for a conference regular season title. But it definitely will be a good one between these two. What a fun one it was between Hofstra and Towson here on MSG. Many thanks to everyone for their hard work during this broadcast. For my broadcast partner, Dylan Butler, I'm Dan Savarino, saying thanks so much for watching. We'll catch you next time.